as they become distractions.
The player she was talking about, the former Sooner, Sophia Nugent, who had the 2-run home run last night, she's due up third this inning. That was one of the things she said she told Sophia was, you are going to feel something when you go back to this place that you spent a couple seasons. Just be ready to have ways to deal with that mentally and stay locked in. This is hitting the right center field and deep, and that is gone off the top of the wall. A leadoff home run from Taylor Pannell. Her 12th of the season, and that's how Tennessee can respond.
And Karen Weekly just told us too many jam jobs have been happening, too much indecisiveness, but one of the best ways to not get jammed is to go up looking for an outside pitch to get your barrel to that pitch. And that's exactly what Taylor Pannell does to score the first run for Tennessee and answer right back an opposite field home run. They've done such a good job when their hitters have come up and had success of letting pitches travel and using the center part of the field or the right side of the field, going with pitches.
Pannell looking to be a likely recipient of another first-team All-SEC nod this year after great conference play numbers last year. That was the Lady Vols' first hit since the top of the first. Had a bunt single and an infield single. Then had 7 straight retired.
Because Jen Rocha, the pitching coach for Oklahoma, saw that out extension on an outside pitch. Now they're going to continue to try to work these right-handed power hitters up and in on their hands to continue that jam job like they had been doing in the earlier innings. Jen Rocha, one of the best pitching coaches in the country right there.
Patty Gasso told us on our call, and we spoke to her after the Wichita State game when Oklahoma allowed 16 runs. She said, don't talk to Jen Rocha today. She is not a happy camper right now based on what her pitching staff had done. They go way back, though. Patty Gasso recruited Jen Rocha when she was in high school out in California when Gasso was the head coach at Long Beach City College. Patty's husband, Jim, was actually the dean of Jen Rocha's high school, so they've known her forever. And we asked about that relationship, and Patty Gasso said she just reads her. Jen reads everything that she needs, and that's not just softball, as Kirsten Deal gets the strikeout for out number 1.
And speaking of looking for an outside pitch, it's what stuck out to me in Sophia Nugent's at bat in the 8th inning. So I'm going to show you the pitch before her home run. Look at how she takes this pitch kind of leaning on her toes over the plate, and then she gets an outside pitch and goes with it to right field. So to me, the pitch before her home run that ended up giving Tennessee the lead and ultimately the win showed me that she was looking for an outside pitch. I saw her take that, and I'm like, oh, she's looking out. Then boom, next pitch she gets, she drives it over the right field wall, ended up winning them the game. But Tennessee has looked really good on the outer half with their swings.
Nugent takes strike 1. She had 2 home runs in the first 15 games this season. She's hit 7 in the last 17. Has been on an absolute tear. Drove in 38 runs all of last year, and she's already hit that number as a senior this year. This is hit deep to right field and carrying and caught right at the wall with Dayton having her right hand up against it.
It's a better barrel there again for Nugent. Just didn't have quite the pop and off the bat that Pannell did for that home run, but get their barrel to these pitches.
Two away for Laura Mealer, the shortstop, who watches ball 1 up and in. Senior from Chapel Hill, Tennessee, and in her second season with the Lady Vols after transferring from Middle Tennessee State last year, where she was a 2-time All-Conference USA performer.
There's a couple of players to me in Tennessee's offense that really stick out as I see kind of the cornerstone of their success. One is Sophia Nugent, who is seeing the ball very well right now and playing big back behind the plate as their everyday starting catcher. And the other is Laura Mailer, their shortstop. When she plays with this energy that you see her even in between pitches out on shortstop, and when she's in the dugout in between innings, just when she plays with this bigger presence and energy, Tennessee plays like a completely different team when she's locked in, and she has been locked in these past couple of games.
Hits this hard down the left field line and tails foul.
Is a big part of their win in Game 3 against Arkansas when they had really struggled just fighting themselves in Game 1 and Game 2 in Knoxville last weekend, and really flipped the script in Game 3. Played on a Monday night. She hit what should have been a home run. It was ruled a double, but when you go back and look at it, it should have been a home run. And she just played with a different energy to help avoid the sweep.
Chopper to the shortstop. Garcia handles it nicely. They retire 3 straight after Taylor Pinnell's big swing. They hit 236 as a team for the Sooners. That's a very low number, but they hit 6 home runs, and that's been kind of one of the things we talked about today. But great power in this team. They lead the SEC in home runs. They also lead the SEC in walks. 8-9-1. This is Isabella Emmerling taking that pitch. And a new pitcher for Tennessee, Aaron Newer, the freshman from East Aurora, New York. He's thrown just 6 1/3 in SEC play, a 5.53 ERA in conference play versus a 1.67 ERA for the season.
A highly recruited freshman. She has really good stuff. I mean, Tennessee coming into this year, Karen Wickley said, we might have one of the deepest pitching staffs that we've ever had, and that's in large part to adding the arm of Aaron Newer, who can really change speeds very well. 3 different speeds that she'll throw. She can ramp it up to 70. Vertical separation that she'll create with an off-speed rise ball and a drop ball at 70. So those 3 speeds that she'll throw is 70 with her drop ball. Just came on back to the field, didn't it? I mean, I was going to start talking again. It looked like it was going to head on out of here and be a little take home.
Going from the left field pole to the right field pole. And back to your point on this Tennessee pitching staff, it's also a group that is all going to come back together next year, assuming the transfer portal doesn't take anybody. But a couple juniors on this staff, couple freshmen and a sophomore in Sage Marjetko, who we saw earlier, and it's a staff that could get even better next year. See Carlin Pickens, who will be the ace, of course, this year and next.
Karen Wickley said that she would be available, but just kind of playing this game by 3 runs. If Tennessee can get back into this game, maybe tie it, take the lead, I think we'd likely see Pickens. They just don't want to overuse her. That was a word that, or overexpose her was the word that Karen Wickley used before the game. That's why they didn't want to bring her in as early as they did last night, but they felt like they kind of had to. So Oklahoma got to see her for over 5 innings last night. Likely see how the rest of this one will play out. And if she doesn't pitch today, I'd say get the start tomorrow. But Karen Wickley, you cannot guess who she's going to start. So I say that now, but you just never know. You can't guess with her.
It certainly feels better that you had to use Pickens for longer last night and you came away with the win.
Absolutely.
If you lose last night, might feel a little worse today. Hit into center field right at Fiedler, 2 outs.
You can just tell that she is difficult to barrel up, Aaron Newer is, whenever she's throwing strikes. So ramp it up to 70, kind of have an in-between speed with her rise ball. That's about 58, 59, and then her changeup, she'll drop in at about 53, 54. A lot of spin on that rise ball, difficult to time up compared to this. And it makes it, her 70 look even harder when she can throw those 3 speeds.
Back to the top of the order for the Sooners, swing and a miss from Abigail Dayton, who homered off of Carlin Pickens last night. Went up and got a pitch and sent it over the right center field wall. Falls behind 0-2 quickly. Dayton, a transfer from Utah where she spent 2 years, a third-team All-American last year. 431 average that led the Pac-12. 0-2 from Neuer. Ground ball left side, Mueller has it. 1-2-3 out of the bullpen for the freshman Aaron Neuer, and we'll see Tennessee bats can keep it going. It's a few years for sure.
I mean, you look record-wise, Missouri is more so down at the bottom of the conference, and they're the ones that gave Oklahoma their first loss last weekend. I think that Ole Miss-Missouri game will be a good one. And Jamie Traxel, I wonder if she's getting ready. Being mic'd up on Monday. It's a big night in the SEC.
Brand new stadium at Ole Miss on display as well. Some big things happening across the country for college softball.
Look at the year that Lexi Brady is having with her 10 home runs for Ole Miss. Balls flying off of her bat. That whole offense can be really scary at times.
16 newcomers, but Brady's been there 4 years and having a career season for them. Big swing here for Ella Dodge. If you joined us late, Oklahoma, Tennessee, and Norman today, the number 2 team against the number 10 team, and the Sooners looking to bounce back after an extra inning loss in game 1 last night. Alongside the 2-time All-American Amanda Scarborough and Chucky Kempf. Popped up on the infield. Deal does handle this one. There was a miscue earlier. No mistake that time.
Yeah, that's why Nellie McEnroe-Marinas is smiling right now, because there was a miscue, but it was down the third base line. I mean, almost an identical pop-up, but one was down third base that they dropped and it ended up going foul, and that one in front of first base with her and Sydney Sanders, but comes away with the out that time.
Amaya Doyle popped up to the shortstop, her first trip to the plate, fouls this down the left field line, strike 1.
Yeah, Karen Weekly talked about her team still trying to find an identity early on, and felt like this is before the Arkansas series. She had said, you know, this time of year you can't develop identity until you get beat around a little bit. And entering the Arkansas series, like, that was her mindset, still trying to find it for her team.
Another one on the infield. This time, Agbayani takes control from her second base position.
And she had said, Chucky, that every team has that defining moment throughout a season, and I don't think that we've had that quite yet. But with the way that her team was able to respond in Game 3 against Arkansas at home, and then come right into Norman and grab Game 1, I don't think you can say yet that they found their identity or that was the defining moment, but it has the potential to be one. When a month from now you look back to their series against Arkansas and them finding a way to win Game 3, and with the way that Carlin Pickens threw and taking that momentum into Norman and winning Game 1 of this series, I mean, easily that could have been a defining moment for Tennessee. I just think it's still too early to tell.
Big swing by Leach. As a player, do you feel a difference? I mean, does it come to that point maybe in 2 weeks when you look back and you've played really well and you think, okay, that was it? As a player, or?
As a player, I don't think that you look as closely at it just even 2 weeks away. I think it's one maybe more toward the end of the season. You're looking back when somebody maybe asks you, like, what's been the change or the spark in this season? And you think back, okay, it could have been that Arkansas series. But I think as a coaching staff, you look at it a little bit more closely. Like, that's what my team maybe needed to go through to find themselves in a weekend like that.
1-2 outside to Gabby Leach.
It's one thing that Karen Weekly said about her back-to-back SEC championships is that those teams had great leadership. As Kiki Malloy, player for them who graduated last year, was a generational type leader in their program. Actually soared over the catcher's head. So the one that you've been seeing is a little bit of a psych out, but either way, she set the record, 78.2, had hit 77 several times, including 77 a couple of times last night in her relief appearance. But the fastest pitch ever thrown on record, breaking Monica Abbott's record which was 77. So it's gotten a ton of attention from Major League Baseball, Sports Illustrated. Savannah Bananas want to know if she is going to come and pitch in one of their games, which Carlin Pickens says when and where. And also, can my team get tickets? Because that's what Karen Weekly said about Carlin Pickens, that she has gotten a ton of attention from that pitch this week. But the one thing that she wants people to know about Carlin Pickens is that she is a phenomenal teammate. And she reminded her of that earlier this week when trying to settle her down, wrote a really sweet text earlier this week letting her know, I wish people, I want to shout from the mountaintops, and I wish that people knew what an amazing person you are, an amazing teammate that you are. As much as attention as 78 is getting, that's really what Karen Weekly wants people to know.
Gets texts from her dad as well before games. Just little reminders. Has been working with him for a long, long time and still does, which is pretty impressive for her dad to still catch her. It's a brave man. Runs inside and hits Nellie McEnroe-Marinas to lead off the 5th inning for Oklahoma.
Well, and too, Chucky, Karen Weekly reminded us that Carlin Pickens came in throwing 70 to 71, and she has put in the work on her mechanics, especially her freshman year. Carlin Pickens told me she really worked on her mechanics to get them where they needed to be, but she's gotten stronger. She's worked on her mechanics, and she's put it in her mind this goal that she wanted to get, 77, 78, to break the record held by Monica Abbott. But, I mean, I can't tell you as a pitcher myself how hard it is. Every mile an hour over 70 miles an hour is incredibly difficult to get and rare. Nevertheless, every mile an hour over 60 miles an hour is hard. She's at 78.
What was the fastest you ever threw?
Okay, so the gun at the World Series at 72. So that's what I'm going with. It may have been a little bit juiced, but we're going with 72 as my answer. I'd say at least 70, which I'm pretty proud of. Yeah. Carlin Pickens is 6'1", I'm 5'5". Also, those longer levers definitely help her just to plays multiple sports, played volleyball and basketball. I mean, she's an incredible athlete, and she does it in the circle too.
If I gave you a ball, a catcher, and 15 minutes to warm up, what speed could you hit right now?
The speed that I hit is soar. Because even hearing you say warm up, 15 minutes, throw to a catcher, try to throw as hard as you can. I'm in pain thinking about it, but I would say 61, which wow. I would... yeah.
I like it.
Notice how specific that is. Because I think I hit 63 a few years ago. So I'm going with 61, taking a few miles an hour off with age, you know.
And you're saying I'm skipping the warm-up straight to the pitch.
That hurts me so bad to think about.
Strike one to Cassidy Pickering for Oklahoma. Nobody out, one on here in the 5th inning. Sooners trying to add to a 4-1 lead and pick up win number 31 of the season. The bunt laid down. Neuer kind of off her back foot, safe at first. Center with that Hawkeye technology, which is extremely helpful, especially on plays like that. But it does set up a very big opportunity for Oklahoma in the heart of their order with Gabby Garcia at the plate, who has a team-high 11 home runs on the season. Takes that for a ball. Hoping to add to 33 RBIs on the year. She is just getting better and better. 270 in 16 games in February, up over 400 in March, and laying down the bunt as she sacrifices both runners into scoring position. Crowd loved that sacrifice bunt against Aaron Neuer. This is such a big moment for the true freshman pitcher for Tennessee against Ella Parker. Parker has walked in her first 2 plate appearances and takes ball 1 in the dirt. Homered last week in their Game 1 win over Missouri, drove in 3 runs. She takes strike 1. Two-one from Newer. Little check swing there. Did she go? Yes, she did. First strike 2.
And what a big chase pitch there to get Ella Parker and get that call and a check swing. Goes to her drop ball, and this check swing gets her right back into the count for the second strike. And holds up on that, learns from her lesson. You can tell they're wanting her to bite at that drop ball down in the zone.
Big pitch coming in a full count with Sydney Sanders awaiting on deck. Goes up top, runner coming home, and now a pickle between third and home. And they do tag out McEnroe Marinas. Productive out for the Lady Vols.
They needed that. Got a little hairy with the rundown when McEnroe Marinas was going to be a sure out because she was breaking on the ground ball to second base. Ella Parker did a good job of getting on top of that pitch, hitting on the right side. Oftentimes got to produce a run with a runner at third base, less than 2 outs. But Tennessee does a nice job of handling that for the second out.
Here's Sydney Sanders. 3-run shot in the 3rd inning. The difference in this game. Watches the off-speed for strike 1. Really struggled in the last 7 games leading up to this against Arkansas, Missouri, and Wichita State. She's hitting just 117. 2 for 17 at the plate in those games. Had a double last night, the 3-run home run today. 2-1. Off speed up top, got her.
It helped her out a little bit. You have some room to be really careful with Sydney Sanders with first base open. When you look at the power numbers of Sydney Sanders compared to Agbayani, who is on deck, looks like that to me is what they're trying to do. Maybe it's the nerves of the freshmen, but maybe it's just the plan to be more careful with first base open. As Sydney Sanders has hit 7 home runs, Agbayani has just hit 1 this year. Not as much of a power type hitter threat, but still hits for a good average on deck.
3-2 with 2 away in the dirt. And they will put Sanders on first to load the bases.
For a freshman.
Aaron Newer out of Narden Academy in East Aurora, New York, delivers strike 1 to Agbayani, who's 0 for 5 in the series with a walk. Played her first 2 years at BYU. Has a sister that is playing there now. Fouls this down the right field line to fall behind 0-2. Has a brother that is committed to play Division I baseball. 0-2, lifted down the right field line, shallow, Leach on it and makes the play. Tennessee strands the bases loaded in the 5th. The Lady Vols 6 outs to work with, down 3 runs.